What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Chase, and today I want to talk about that Wonder Woman 1984 variant cover that was released over the weekend by DC Nation on their Twitter page. It's bad, okay? But here's the thing, not for the reason that a lot of people say. Is the art style different and weird? Yes, but we'll get into all of that. So, because what's going on at at&t, Warner Media, DC Comics, I think is playing a big deal into, you know, why stuff like this is getting through. So we'll get into that. So anyway, if you haven't seen it yet, here is that variant cover for Wonder Woman 1984, right here. What you expected? If it's the first time seeing it, probably not. It probably might come as a jarring image, like but isn't she an Amazon warrior princess, not a schlub sitting on her stoop out in front of her apartment complex? That's what they chose. The artist is Robin Eisenberg. She has a smaller following on Twitter, but on Instagram she's really huge. And I'm going to get into why that is also very important to all of this that's going on. So anyway, Twitter had a huge reaction when DC Nation released this. I think it was over the weekend. It was panned. It got ratioed into the ground. What I mean by ratioed, it means when the comments far outweigh the likes. And why that's important is because it's much easier to like something than it is to take the time to comment. And so when tons of people are taking the time to comment, it's usually not a great thing. So anyway, let's get into some of those comments and what people said, what people thought about this on Twitter. So Heel vs. Babyface says, at&t, please just shut this embarrassment of a company down. They have no respect for the characters nor their audience. License out the characters to people that actually care. I actually wouldn't have a problem with that. Mike S. Miller, are you out of touch with fans? By the way, this guy is actually a former DC Comics artist. Look at the comments here. I can't find one that thinks this is a good idea. I'm not saying anything about the artist, just this is Wonder Woman. Come on. And Chris Miller, simple garbage. One of my favorite comments. The Dunedin says, what in Hades? What, did she give up fighting evil and decide to battle ice cream instead? The whole post is rifled with these kinds of comments. And why is that important? Because DC Nation has a following. Who follows DC Nation? Probably people that like Wonder Woman, and probably people that buy comics. I'm just gonna take a guess that they might buy comics every once in a while at least. So the artist for this variant cover is Robin Eisenberg. She has a smaller following on Twitter, but when you go over to her Instagram, I was actually really surprised. It's like 620,000 some followers. She has a lot of followers, okay? There's a lot of people that enjoy her work. And when you look at her work, you can see why Wonder Woman looks like this, okay? Most of her work involves the thicker female form, and actually in a lot of her posts, they're usually pretty sexual in nature. But this is where it actually gets interesting. So she has 620,000 plus followers. Obviously, DC Nation was looking at that, not her Twitter. They were looking at her Instagram. She made a post about her variant cover for Wonder Woman 1984. And I decided, hey, you know what? I'll go through her comments. These are people who like her work and that like her enough to follow her. So let's see what they're saying. I scrolled and scrolled, and there's two things that I never saw. One, nobody asked, when is this coming out? Not a single person. Never saw it. It's like they didn't care. Now, sure, all of the comments, positive. This rocks. This is my Wonder Woman. Yes, slay queen. All of the good stuff that you would want to see. But nobody's asking the important questions. When is this coming out? Second, nobody, not one, never saw, asked, I want to buy this. Chase, who cares? They're fans. Like, how do you know they're not interested in buying it? Like, you don't know that. Just because they're not saying it doesn't mean they won't. Contrast that with Arthur Adams, okay? Who doesn't have as big of a following as her, but when he posts something, if it's in like a rough draft or something, there are tons of comments saying, what is this for? When is this coming out? Is this something new? I'm totally going to buy this when it comes out. They have complete interest in purchasing whatever this project is that he's working on. And that goes for other comic book artists like Jason Fabok and his Three Jokers, or J. Scott Campbell and his variant covers that he always puts out. People are interested in purchasing comics, in contrast to Robin, where you don't see any of that. So I still wasn't convinced. I said to myself, okay. Granted, nobody's saying anything in her comments about any desire to have this variant cover. But maybe she does like webcomics or something. Like maybe there's something that she does that's relatable that can kind of bridge the gap over into mainstream comics. So I went to her website. There's nothing. She has a shop where you can buy t-shirts and she has a book that's coming out, but it's not a comic book. It's like this intergalactic space odyssey to find your inner glow or something like that. It's basically a portfolio of her drawings. So it begs the question, why? Why is she doing a variant cover? Yeah, she has a lot of followers, but it's obviously not going to attract any new readership. And we can already see that the readership that is in place over on Twitter, for example, on the DC Nation post, they don't like it. So nobody's going to buy it over here, and nobody's going to buy it over here. So you got a product that's going to sit on the shelves and rot. Why do you make that decision? And this is my theory. There is so much chaos that's going on over at DC Comics, coming from the top down, from at&t to Warner Media to DC Comics. And there are layoffs happening everywhere. I think Warner Media alone, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's somewhere around 600 layoffs. DC Comics has already laid off a lot of their higher editorial staff and board. This comes from Variety. Let's just take a look, read it. At DC Comics, Editor-in-Chief Bob Harris, editors Brian Cunningham and Mark Doyle, Senior VP of Publishing, Strategy and Support Services Hank Cannells, VP of Marketing Jonah Weiland, and VP of Global Publishing Initiatives and Digital Strategy Bobby Chase have all exited as part of the restructuring. There's a lot going on over there, and it has been since at&t took over, and it got a lot worse when HBO Max launched. HBO Max is kind of the beginning of a new dawn at Warner Media. A lot of restructuring began as soon as that launched. I personally believe at DC Comics there's not a lot of people that are paying attention to what's going out the door because they're worried about their seat. And so there's stuff like this that's just getting through. You can't, just because somebody has 600 and something thousand followers on Instagram, that doesn't mean it's going to translate to sales at all. It'd be like an Instagrammer who's really into music, and this video editing company wanted to do a deal with him. He makes music. Why are you interested? You're a video editing company. None of his followers are interested in video editing. They're interested in making music. So that's not going to translate very well. And that's what's happening here. Sure, she draws, but A, her drawing style is not really comic book material. B, none of her followers are interested in buying comics. So that's what I think about it. I don't agree with a lot of commentators who think this is a big FU from DC to the fans. That doesn't make sense to me at all. But those are my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear yours. Are you interested in getting this? Does this just fill you with excitement to go out and get that comic? I'm just gonna say no. I don't think anybody is interested in it. But if you are interested in getting it, I'd love to hear it. If you're not, I'd also love to hear your points of view. But anyways, guys, if you have not yet already, please, I'd love to get your subscription to this channel. Go down and hit that subscribe button. Maybe hit the like if you like it, and hit that bell for notifications. I'm getting much better at uploading at least twice a week. And in the future, I want to increase that and grow this channel. I really enjoy doing this, and I love interacting with you guys. And thank you all for you new subscribers who have come on board. I see it. I appreciate it. It makes me happy, and it motivates me to keep going. But anyways, guys, as always, appreciate it, and peace out.